the aesthetic does not matter as much as the message. What it do? It's your girl Jay, the High Priestess. Back at it again with the general tarot reading for this full moon in Libra. Be sure to check out your sun, moon, and rising. Patreon gets everything first. Patreon.com/justjeverything. Over there we dive in, and there's just a beautiful cult that I'm growing over there. Shout out to Spirit Squadron. For free content, check out my Instasham at justj_everything, TikTok at justjeverything, and for other dope shit that I do, my website, justjeverything.com. Hydrate, light it if you got it, take in some time with me. Because this is an important one, this is a doozy. I have been crying for the better part of today in a just like not great emotional place, and then I was just like, bam, my moon cycle started and startled me, and I was just like, you know, of course I knew my mama ain't raised no bitch, but then again, with Mars in Cancer, did she? Like so there's a lot of that going on. Venus, the ruler of Libra, is in Taurus at home. So I do feel like there is this like homebody energy, a safe space or a desire to be in a safe space so that we can like lean into the motivation that, Mars is giving us, the motivation to feel our feelings, the motivation to tap into the past, the motivation to dive into and explore your relationship to the mother, like the mother beyond the mother, like who is Mother Gaia's mother, you know, like, where did I read that? I read that somewhere. There is just other levels. And so I feel like all things maternal are really coming up, which is why in Aries season, the season of the baby, first sign in the zodiac, the sign of I am, we've got to tend to our inner child, especially with Chiron in Aries right there, and like its conjunction to the sun and Jupiter and all this stuff that's going on. It's tapping into our identity wounds. Our like, regardless of if you're married, in a relationship, if you've been single, phone dry as fuck, we have to tap into our identity wounds so that we can, it's like, so that we're able to attract from a healed place the things that we're wanting to experience through the other. Like, you tend to you, and the vibe of everyone around you shifts. Whether they can keep up and they're still aligned will be revealed, but all you can control is you. And so this full moons are when the sun and the moon oppose each other. So the sun is currently in Aries, the moon is currently in Libra, and we gonna have to let go. Well, but first we have to pay attention to what we're clinging to, because in some ways we're holding on to something. I feel like we're really needing to let go of the fantasy so that we can grasp like the possibilities of how good it could fucking be. So the moon the sun in Aries is opposing the moon in Libra, and I feel like the sun, I didn't dive into the astrology of this too much, but I'm pretty sure Chiron is conjunct the sun during this full moon. Yeah, because it's happening at 16 degrees. Chiron's at 15 degrees right now. So Chiron, the wounded healer, excuse me, is in the mix in this full moon. And full moons are periods of release. This is opposition, who you are in your emotional body, like really, you know, colliding in some sort of way. And that's why full moons, like, people, you know, it's like lunatics, like people, emotions run very high during full moons. But it's a time of release, of revelation, of harvest and change. And your hard work on yourself is finally starting to pay off. And I feel like the hard work that you put on yourself are going to benefit all of the relationships that you're tethered to. Libra is a sign of I balance. Libra is all things diplomacy, the aesthetic, the zhuzh, the looks, partnership. That desire or tendency to like maintain homeostasis, to like keep the boat from rocking, very Libran. And here we realize like the most about ourselves via involvement with others. That's what Libra season and what the sign is responsible for teaching us. When how to balance not only ourselves, but like how do you maintain that balance once someone else comes in? Are you someone that when you get in a relationship, it just derails your life? Or when there's a new love or a new passion or a new project, you know, your health goes to shit, your friendships get neglected, you know, you're spending less time with your kids or something. Like, it's time to really be honest and Aries style, honest, brutal truth with yourself about what is really getting in the way. And what that ultimately is you trusting your instincts and tapping into and trusting who you are. Because I feel like some of us are feeling really big feelings and we're afraid to trust them because we're going to, if we trust it, we have to change everything. And that's really what's coming up. So extend yourself some Libran grace, please, and be lovingly honest with yourself. It will be easier for you to be brutally honest with yourself, but if you can't handle that kind of brutality, you know, and keep it moving, then don't do that. But either way, it's looking like honesty with oneself is the move. Because Libra is harmony, and it's just time to tune your instrument so others can harmonize with you. So you can, it's like tend to your melody, so someone else's melody starts to sound, you know, good. And you got to figure out also, like, what kind of melodies do you want to, like, harmonize with? What kind of melodies do you want to, like, wrap yourself up in? You know? And so this full moon is happening on April 6, 2023 at 10:34 p.m. Mountain Time, 12:34 a.m. Eastern Time, 1, 2, 3, 4. At 16 degrees Libra, and I'm an 18 degree Libra rising, and so that explains a lot. So those of you who have Libra placements around this degree, I'd say within like 3 degrees either way of 16 degrees will definitely be more impacted than others. Let me find Aries. And you know I gotta hit you with the handy dandy Inside Degrees by Elias Lonsdale. If you want to go read it for yourself, you can look at it online. I would definitely suggest getting it. It's just a wonderful book. It's just beautiful. I love it. So you can just Google Inside Degrees and it'll come up, and you can actually read all these online. You can go through and hit each degree online. And so Elias Lonsdale, hold on, me. Hydrate. I already did this for myself, but relax. As we create a safe space. Our benevolent ancestors, Mother God, Father God, Mother Earth, thanking you for the most useful, helpful, and divinely aligned messages for this full moon. And Libra, I struggled to get this done, y'all. I've been procrastinating when it comes to this, and I think it's just because there's gonna be I'm procrastinating because we're procrastinating when it comes to looking at ourselves and really doing, like, yeah, we've done the hard work, but now it's like, we gotta do this, we've done all this hard work on ourselves, we gotta work on connection, you know, and relating to the other. And that's easy for some and very hard for others. And so wherever you fall on that scale, I just feel like either way there is this next level up in how you interact. So Elias Lonsdale's description of the 16th degree of Libra is a woman. The lower half of her body is a serpent. I love this motherfucker. Like, anyway. Magic working simultaneously from two divergent levels. That Aries Libra axis. Magic working simultaneously from two divergent levels. The regular human everyday magic of the regular human everyday magic of holding yourself together as a complex and volatile mix by sheer intent. Ooh! And the deeper magic of yielding into the undersoul, the passions, the desires, the impulses, and the skills of the subconscious levels. That's what I'm saying, is like there's another like level deeper. Primarily being absorbed in the dark forces of body and soul, but meanwhile, bending over backwards to frame everything in normalcy. This combination is extremely difficult to maintain. It is fragile, delicate, and dangerous. You secretly exult in how important it is, it really is, and urge yourself onward to work this magic and wield it with the kind of life force that moves at the edge of an abyss and stays on that edge in a balancing act that may capsize at any moment. Fuck! I need to read all of this again on my own anyway. And therefore it is entered upon with a passion of the most dazzling cross between sheer foolishness and a wizard's mastery. Jesus, take the wheel. I need to read that last sentence again. Because he's talking about magic working simultaneously from two divergent levels. The conscious and the subconscious. The ethereal and the spirit. The spirit world, the physical world. As above, so below. Magic working simultaneously from two different points. And that also makes me feel like you're doing your magic and your partner is doing their magic. You may not be privy to their process. You may not be in each other's presence, but the work you're doing especially for those of you especially those of you who are single right now, it's like the work you're doing on yourself, I feel like you are discouraged because you may not realize your divine counterpart is out there doing that exact same work. Not the exact same work, but the exact same level of work. What was that? Anyway. Magic working simultaneously from two divergent levels. The regular human everyday magic of holding yourself together as a complex and volatile mix by sheer intent, and the deeper magic of yielding into the undersoul, the passions, the desires, the impulses, and the skills of the subconscious levels. Primarily being absorbed in the deep forces of body and soul, but meanwhile, bending over backwards to frame everything in normalcy. We good, everything's all right, oh my God, it's good, what's going on with you? Everything's great. This combination is extremely difficult to maintain. It is fragile, delicate, and dangerous. Which is why authenticity is so fucking required from us. And that's what Mars in Cancer is doing right now. And this like Libra, full moon in Libra. It's time to take off the mask, time to take off the facade. It's time to really let yourself be flawed and human and vulnerable and transparent. Because the keeping up with the Joneses, all of that shit is falling away anyway. The Joneses are coming out and they're gross and they're pedophiles and they're fucking like terrible humans. You know what I mean? Like we're starting to realize the people we're trying to keep up with are barely humane. are like not people you really would fuck with, are people who would like just not really fuck with you. The people that are on this on pedestals in this society, like there is this big grand falling from grace that's coming. You secretly exult. You secretly exult in how impossible it really is, and urge yourself onward to work this magic and wield it with the kind of life force that moves at the edge of an abyss and stays at the edge in a balancing act that may capsize at any moment. That is the most Aries Libra axis shit I've ever heard in my life. And therefore is entered upon with a passion of the most dazzling cross between sheer foolishness, Aries, and the wizard's mastery. Oof, goodness. I love his work. It just, he is everything. He is everything. He is everything. I'm going to pull from different decks, and I'm starting out with the Tarot. Ooh, Tarot of Mystical Moments. One of my favorites. This is just truly beautiful deck, and I love how abstract it is. And you know how we do, diving in and getting some questions. There's a lot to unpack here, it feels like. And the first thing I want to ask is, and keep in mind these are questions that you can ask yourself, that you can pull cards for yourself on this as well. But what about you has kept you from the partnership that you want? Now this is a general reading, so eat the meat, leave the bones, says the vegetarian. But let's see. So like I said, hydrate, light it if you got it, take some deep breaths. We welcome in the truth. Our greatest and highest good, please show us what about ourselves has kept us from the partnership that we want. What about ourselves? The Ace of Wands and Death. Damn, with the Knight of Wands on the bottom of the deck. We live in a society that really glorifies being a fucking hoe and really and being like non-committal is what I really meant. Like I be on my hoe shit all the time, but like not really. I have like hoe shit mentality, but I just like don't like people enough to actually like be in their presence, so I just be a hoe in my head. But I thoroughly encourage hoe phases and hot girl, hot boy summers. But I do feel like there has been maybe someone that's been in and out of your life, someone with fuck boy kind of fuck person, fuck boy, fuck girl, fuck person mentality. Someone who's here for a good time, not a long time. The concept of like being here for a good time, not a long time. Being very non-committal or even talking yourself out of the kinds of connections that you want, settling for physical connection when you really want some intense spiritual or romantic or intimate connections. You know what I mean? So King of Wands the Knight of Wands on the bottom of the deck. I feel like also there's been people around that like, what did Ari say? I'm in the Olympics where I'm jumping through hoops. Who are you jumping through hoops for? Are you jumping through hoops for yourself? Has this person jumped through hoops for you? Are they, you know what I mean? Not that you need that, but I just feel like, are you in a situation that's symbiotic or parasitic? Is it one-sided or is it reciprocal? Are you getting what you need? Are you getting your needs met? Especially if this person has Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius placements. I feel like Ace of Wands and Death reversed coming out. It's like what's kept us from having the partnerships that we want is that like these new situations come in They're new, they're hot and the heavy, especially if it's with an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius or a Scorpio. But it's like something new comes in and it's just lights you up, and then it proves to be toxic or not what you want, and you don't know how to end it. Death reversed. Some of us are in connections and we're just waiting for it to bloom, waiting for it to bloom. 5 years in, waiting for it to bloom. 10 years in, waiting for it. For me, it's more like 7 months waiting for it to bloom. Bye. You know what I mean? And that's probably, that's my own shit and why I'm single as fuck now. But I prefer, anyway, this isn't about me. This is about, like, I feel like for a lot of us, we don't know when to end something just because it was new and it was fresh and it taught us something and it was effervescent and it brought out this aliveness. It's like, when people show you who they are, do you know how to believe them? Do you know how to call a spade a spade? Do you know when how to recognize a clown? Do you know when, are you able to catch yourself when you're putting your clown makeup on and you're behaving, on some clown shit? I feel like just because like something new comes in and it stirs up passion and it's hot and heavy, I feel like what's keeping us from having the partnerships that we want are like thinking that everything new is going to be forever. Everything new is supposed to like be the one. Or I also feel like those of you who are in relationships, what's keeping you from having the intensity or the connection that you're wanting in that relationship may have something to do with like your physical or your sexual connection. Maybe you're not as sexually connected to this person. Are you sexually connected to yourself? Are you relying on this person solely for pleasure? Please clarify the Ace of Wands. I also feel like what's keeping us from having the connections, the partnerships that we want is like the divine's like, hey, I'm bringing you this person, and you're like, no, I don't want that. Like you want, some of us are used to 22. Some of us are, we don't realize we're addicted to our toxicity. We don't realize like we're addicted to someone who's going to fight with us all the time or stir the pot, or someone we need to chase, or I don't want to get bored and blah, blah, blah. Like this person's so boring, and it's just like, all right, go on ahead and get cheated on. Cause, you know what I mean? Cause I'm sorry that was mean, but it's just like I feel like some of us are really, really afraid to end things that are no longer serving us. The Queen of Pentacles came out to clarify the Ace of Wands, especially if you have Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn placements. I feel like you are having issues with like big time with like your self-worth right now. And there is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn placements. Yeah, and it's just like 4 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. That is, some of you, it's just like, okay, there was someone that came through that you did want to marry, that you did want to be with, and there was like a betrayal. Damn, definitely there was a betrayal, or there was like a two-facedness. There was someone who was deceitful. I feel like you've been dealing with like duplicitous people. Dealing with people who like your spidey senses tingled about and you stayed anyway, or you know something's not working and you're staying anyway. Please clarify death reversed. It's just like what's keeping you from having what you want is you, boo. I'm sorry. It's us. It's like we're afraid to change. We're afraid to end. We're afraid to transform. A lot of us are afraid to be alone. And let me just like say this as lovingly as an Aries possibly can during Aries season. If you are afraid to be alone, like if you're afraid to be with yourself, patience over passion. If you're afraid to be, or if you don't like being alone with yourself, like that needs to to be changed, because like, why would somebody else want to? If you don't like that, if you don't like being with you, how is someone else supposed to like being with you? That doesn't make sense. And if you show up to the dating pool, keep in mind, we live in a physics-based reality. Like attracts like. If you're in the dating pool and you don't like being with you, you're going to keep attracting people who just want to fuck and don't want to be with you. Or who like, keep it like a certain kind of superficial. Because how you feel about yourself is reflected in what you allow or what you attach yourself to. So I hope that wasn't, I didn't mean for that to be painful or like stingy, but like, it's like, why or if you don't like being alone, first and foremost, trust and believe, if you have a fear of being by yourself, that's exactly what the divine is setting up for you for like to happen. No matter how much you run, no matter how like person or house that you go to, if you're afraid of being alone, that's exactly what you're going to end up having to do. Because you're just running from God. You're running from the fractal of divinity inside of you. And when you tend to that fractal and you grow it and expand it, you attract other people that have grown and expanded their divinity. And then like attracts, like there's equal pairing. Please clarify death reversed. I also feel like a lot of us, specifically women, have been taught like we're out here craving so much stability and security from men, especially when it comes financially. Wow. Wow. We're craving all this stability from men, and the men are not all right. The patriarchy has fucked the men. The patriarchy, the powers that be has completely screwed them over. Most of the men who are bound up in this patriarchal society and who have like, followed the rules are fucking stuck. They're restricted. We all are restricted in some sort of way. We all are behind bars in some sort of way. And it feels like there's this really big need to start building up awareness of what these bars are for you. Every bar is going to be different. Self-doubt, the shit that your dad said when you were young, the attention that you didn't receive, the ways that like that acts, the ways that ex dismissed you, or every time you've been ghosted, you know what I mean? It's just like there's all kinds of restrictions that we allow, and if we not allow, but that we experience, and also that we allow. But if we put some effort in, Six of Wands after, there is this vehicle forward. There is this inertia that's being built to move towards freedom. Pluto and Aquarius. But what came out to clarify death reverse is the Ace of Cups. My tongue just started tingling in this really weird way. It's like, I don't know what's happening. The Star and the Chariot. Even though you may feel like you're moving at a snail's pace, you are moving towards victory. You are moving towards triumph. I need you to choose patience. I need you to actively exercise expanding your patience and being willing to let slow and steady win the race. One foot in front of the other. I feel like so much of us are terrified to let go. So death reverse is like you're afraid of the change, but the change is coming anywhere. Afraid of the spirit world, but you go in there anyway, so you might as well get in contact with that otherworldly version of yourself. The otherworldly aspect of yourself is what I meant. And whenever you're done holding on for dear life to what you think you are, then the divine can actually like bring in stuff for you to hold on to. wishes, hope, faith. This is it's like if we let ourselves move forward, there is so much blooming. Like April showers really do bring some May flowers. There is definitely a new relationship coming in. We have to let go of this. Or for those of us who are single, there is a new relationship coming in. Those of you in a relationship already, it's like a new take on old love, or there is a deepening, a passion that's coming in that I feel like is guiding you in a very specific direction. But all of these cards that have come out are solitary. And it feels like with this new moon in Libra, Libra is all things, partnerships, and like you, the other, you being the other, like you as in I'm pointing at you, spouse, your business partners, contracts, things that come to you by way of the external. And I'm telling you, 2 aces out already. New things want to come in. You just gotta dead what is decaying. Take out the rotting trash. Quit defending the rotting trash. I did a reading that just a while back, a short that just came up, and it's just like, oh my God, look at you, and you're like little trash panda, like defending your trash can. Cute. No, and it's like that's not the move. I feel like we're in a point where we're starting to realize, like, with this transit of Venus being at home in Taurus right now, she will be entering Gemini with new standards. So our standards are raising actively, and we're like, everybody's gonna have to get the shit together. On some real superficial Libra shit, I also want to ask, what will make me feel more beautiful? What will make us feel more beautiful? What do we need to do to improve the aesthetic? Because there is going to be that kind of desire to change something up. King of Swords, that could be like get a tattoo. Figuring out or planning your next tattoos. For some of you, there could even be like you need to get contacts, maybe get some color contacts, maybe play with things. Excuse me. Also, what will make you feel more beautiful is setting boundaries, speaking your truth, telling that motherfucker like it is, and if you need to be sharp, be sharp. Whoever's being sharp with you, you need to cut them off. Whoever is being rude or disrespectful, you need to cut them off. Do not be a groupie. Keep it fucking moving, please. I also feel like getting in motion. Also, what will make you feel more beautiful is being well read. I feel like diving deeper into your education and like acquiring more information, building your vocabulary, studying like the policies and the procedures of whatever you're passionate about more, acquiring more information, like really also giving yourself a detached, like bird's eye view. I feel like emotionally detaching from like, and I'm like practicing like taking a step outside of yourself so that you can really call yourself out without being so like entwined and caught up in the thick of it. And it's hard to explain that right now, but I do feel like there is something about giving yourself the big picture view. So I have a good question came through that I wanted to ask. What do we need in a partner that we're blind to? Because some of you think, I just need somebody rich, I need somebody kind, I need somebody, wholesome. And what you don't realize is you need somebody who is very, very attentive. You know what I mean? Or little things like that. So what characteristics or what? 3 of Pentacles, someone that gets along with your friends. I feel like someone that can build. Someone that is interested in like building a new table, like what I bring to the table combined with what you bring to the table, we got a new table to build. Somebody with a strong work ethic, someone who doesn't gossip, but has the connections, has the qualifications. I also feel like what you need, you may need to be honest about the fact that like you care about what your person does, or you want somebody that is on the same kind of, like, maybe you want somebody that's a professional. You know what I mean? It's like, if also like, because this card, the root of this card, the Three of Pentacles, is about a couple going to see an architect. And so you may need somebody who's a great planner, who can see the blueprint. You may need somebody who's a visionary, seeking out people who also like nature the way that you do. Yeah, there's something here about building. You need somebody, you don't realize you need somebody who you can build with, who is like, who brings different tools to the table. It's like, you got your set of tools and I need you to bring your set of tools, and what can we get done with this tool belt, this tool belt, this new skill set. I like that. Also, you may need somebody that's handy, somebody that can actually knows what to do with a drill. Somebody that could be something that's really sexy for you, is being honest that you want somebody who's like handy, or someone who can, like, I say that's something that's on my list for like my future husband. I'm like, knows how to build things to code. Like someone who, it doesn't have to be a fucking like full-time carpenter, but that would be hot. But somebody, you know, that has those kinds of skills, or is like willing to learn those kinds of skills. But I feel like you need somebody with more of a solid foundation. You need to take time to, you need someone who's willing to take the time to, with you, to tend to your foundation. If you're already in a relationship, I feel like it's really important for you to initiate the tending to of the foundation. Are we putting in what we want to get out of this? Where do we want to take this? Where do we want to be in, you know, a year or 5 years? All right, and also in contrast or opposition to that, what am I overvaluing in partnership? What are we overvaluing in partnerships? Queen of Swords. Ooh, this made me, the first thing I thought was physical looks. I say it all the time, like, I require face. And it makes me sound like, no, I don't care. Like, I require face, but the level of face that I require has changed. So I'm learning. I'm getting better. What am I overvaluing in partnership? With the Queen of Swords, also maybe having somebody to tell you what to do. I feel like you're maybe, some of you in partnerships, you're giving over too much of your power. Or like letting maybe you're overvaluing like someone who can like plan or like make the decisions for you. Excuse me, and that just doesn't feel cool. Queen of Cups on the bottom of the deck. You may be overvaluing emotions or fluidity. This also feels, please clarify the Queen of Swords. Oh, I feel like you may be overvaluing getting somebody who's like really made it, or someone who's like a millionaire, or pairing with somebody who, you know, has made a lot of money. Someone who you may be overvaluing someone who can, the Three of Wands. Yeah, I feel like you may want to be with somebody that's really ambitious, but you know, is there balance in that? Clarified by the Six of Pentacles, the Three of Wands, and the Six of Pentacles. I don't know. This feels a little gossipy for me for some reason. I don't know why gossip is coming up. Maybe it's like somebody that you can kiki and be friends with. I do feel like, yeah, you need to have someone that you can like spill your tea to. But I feel like also you may be really wanting someone who will like travel with you and just pick up and go and the visionary, when maybe you're needing something that's more like stable and consistent and grounded. So lastly, what will prepare us for the love we want? What steps do we individually need to take? Because there is no healthy we without a healthy me. What steps do we individually need to be taking? Knight of Swords. Letting in these radical truths. I feel like we're learning a relationship with rocking the boat. Learning to stop people pleasing. Because people pleasing comes from a really selfish, kind of icky place. Though we have been taught to think that we're doing it for everybody else, subconsciously you're really doing it for yourself. You're really people pleasing because you can't handle the discomfort or the tension. We've got to stop prioritizing everybody else's comfortability over our truth. And I will say that shit until I'm blue in the face. I feel like we have to, the way we can prepare for love is also, you need to be prepared to be challenged. You know, like you need to know how to fight fair. You need to know how to communicate yourself, communicate your emotions and express yourself effectively. If you're single right now, we're all needing to work on communication skills, not being combative, not being a know-it-all or like, you know, like fix it or playing Captain Save-A-Ho or trying to like mold these people into who you want them to be possibly. For some of you, there was someone with Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius placements that prepared you for love, maybe Leo placements. What we're needing to do to prepare for love is to reconnect to our heart, radically put in the time, effort, educate yourself, acquire the information so you can reconnect with your heart. You can reconnect with that inner beast. You can reconnect with your shadow. Healing and possibly reconnecting with the energy of the Father, reconnecting to your willpower. If there are father wounds or mother wounds that have been untended to, we're needing to really tend to that stuff first before we hop into the dating pool. Because your level of self-awareness is going to help you, you know, figure out if you're playing chess or checkers. I also feel like you're needing to really evaluate your relationship to your ego, really evaluating your relationship to superficiality. Some of you have to have this conversation with this Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or this Leo. Need to have these clarifying conversations with your father or with a parent or parental unit. And for those in relationships, how do we improve our current relationships? How do we make things better? The Three of Swords, by acknowledging what hurts. By Five of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. By acknowledging what the things that we're like caging in. Some of you are holding back from telling the truth to your partner or revealing like your true feelings. Some of you are saying, oh, I need to work on this. I shouldn't feel like this, or I shouldn't be struggling with this jealousy, or I shouldn't need all this information. It's just like, why are you talking yourself out of your needs? Why aren't you allowing yourself to acknowledge that something hurts, or that there's trauma that needs to be tended to, or there was a disappointment, or feeling left out, or feeling abandoned in some sort of way? Yes, how you can improve your current relationships is by using your words. Taking some time to really figure out how to best articulate yourself so that you can say what needs to be said. Because if not, the Hermit, you're going to continue to isolate, and that's not necessary. And then ooh, look at this. Unless you use your words, magician, tap into your, we all need to reconnect with our inner child, because our inner child is the one that has a thing to say, most importantly. And so you tending to what your inner child has to say is going to benefit your relationship with everybody, especially your relationships with your children. But you using your words, you tapping into, like, what have you discovered about yourself lately? What do you want to learn? What skills, what talents, what habits, like, what do you need to, like, invest in? What aspects of yourself do you need to invest in? You tapping into your magic, your light, and empowering yourself to, like, speak the truth, to, like, say what needs to say, or your two ships, what you say and whether you say it determines whether these ships are moving towards each other or away from each other. It's time to get over whatever has you caged in about the Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. I feel like there is a lot of looking for things to make sense. I feel like we're spending a lot of time trying to figure out, like, why, versus allowing ourselves to just focus on the fact that we've been caged up in some sort of way. We have not been using the fullness of our wings. We've not allowed ourselves to expand. And I feel like the divine is really lighting things up from below. What did it say? The underbelly, not the underbelly, the undersoul. Damn. Where was that? I turned right to it. Did I do that? How did that happen? Magic working simultaneously from two divergent levels. The regular human everyday magic. The regular human everyday magic of holding yourself together as a complex and volatile mix by sheer intent. And the deeper magic of yielding. Hold on, where's the star? And the deeper magic of yielding into the undersoul, the passions, the desires, the impulses, and the skills of the subconscious levels, the undersoul. And the deeper magic of yielding, meaning giving way into getting the fuck out of the way. Yielding to the undersoul. Death reversed. Lean into it. Get out of the divine's way. Get out of your heart's way. Listen. The Lovers on the bottom of the deck. Get out of your ways and create room so that the birds that are like you, the birds that are of your feather, can come together. So to be very specific, what do we need to be releasing for this full moon? What are we letting go? What are we releasing for this full moon? Who's clarifying? Don't you do this to me? The Three of Cups reversed. What you need to let go of is those times that they cheated, the times that they lied. Do not stay with this person that has fucking disrespected you, that has embarrassed you, or lied, or cheated, or like flirting with your friends, or you don't trust them around your friends, or that friend you don't trust around your partner, like whatever that is, like the people in your circle who have already shown you that they aren't down for you. Let it the fuck go. Some of you are holding on for dear life to stay in a friend circle, and those are not your people. They've shown you who they are. Stop trying to like force yourself to jump through hoops for people who aren't interested in even being in your circle. Or being in like, I feel like there are people who like you've done things and these people haven't fucking clapped not once. You've accomplished dope stuff. And this isn't for everybody, but Also, some of you are in a relationship and you're like, oh, I'm gonna, even though they cheated, I put the shit away, and the jumping through fucking hoops card came out again. I'm at the Olympics, I am jumping through hoops. Who are you switching positions for? Switching positions for you. Some of us are switching positions and I don't like it. And so we're needing to release the jumping through hoops, all of that stuff. And what is coming in? What wants to come in? What wants to come in? The Eight of Cups, the desire for you to get out of your comfort zone. The ability to get out of your comfort zone. Now, I rarely get to pull from this, but I'm pulling from the Archetypes deck, the Wild Unknowns Archetype deck. It's just such a beautiful deck. I love abstract decks. But what's coming in? There's sweeping changes come in. You know, change is associated with these full moons. So what changes are coming in? Not high enough. What changes are coming in? Ooh, that may be a lot. The Judge. Navigating, your ability to navigate the black and white. Ooh, the Judge. This is Libra, the scales. I feel like your discernment is exploding. The vow. Wow. Okay, some of us, like, you're I can't even say it. It's like your husband or your wife or your partner, your person is coming. The person, like, you can really, like, trust their word, their vow. But do you trust your word? Can you trust yourself? Do you keep the vows you make to yourself? Can you create a plan and stick to it? Why are you expecting a partner that can do all of these things that you're not doing for yourself in some sort of way? The Bardo came in, which I feel like the Bardo is like this liminal space. I shouldn't even brought it up because I don't have that. The One? I don't believe in the concept of the one, but I'm telling you, there is, some of you do. And the Mirror. Okay, so what's coming in? Some of us are attracting in these partnerships that are preparing us for our divine counterpart. And then some of us, we've cleaned, like we've already like made our way through those trials and tribulations. And the person that's coming in is like, the person, or a very, very significant person, or for those of you who are already together, I feel like there is this like either renewing your vows or finally like a test of your vows. You really shown like you getting to see like, hey, was this a good judgment for me to like stay in this connection and commit myself to this person? I've read the Bardo before and I forgot what it was, but from the side of things, I feel like some of you are attracting in a lover, some of you are attracting in an L. And I feel like very quickly you will be able to see and determine the difference. I love that this looks like an eyeball, like pulled out. But once you pull, like go in, it's like you can see some of the destruction. But also, I don't want you to get discouraged, because if there is somebody that comes in and they're, you know, like here for a good time, not a long time, or they have you, you know, you feel like you're jumping through hoops to maintain their attention. I feel like your intuition is going to start really speaking to you, and you're going to start to see clearly like what is the necessary destruction that's going to be generating this creation. I don't like doing readings this long, but that's probably why I was fucking procrastinating from doing this. But please clarify the Judge. I feel like there's decisions to make. The facts come in. You're going to be able to make a judgment call on a lot of things. You're going to have the facts. 10 of Swords. Yeah, some of you have been ignoring the fact that like you've been hurt. This person keeps continuously cutting you, or you're beating a dead horse in some way. It's just like, if it's done already, it's done. If it's dead already, it's dead. The world, which is the end. The world is culmination. The world is graduation. Are you going to graduate? Are you going to level up? Or are you going to just stay and choose to be the continuous, like, perpetual victim? I'm sorry. Mars is in Cancer. Mercury is in Taurus. Communication will be fucking cutthroat for the next fucking 2 months. The Vow. Please clarify. The Vow. Goodness, that was quick. I didn't even get to ask the Page of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. I'm telling you, this is like, some of you are getting married. Some of you are getting proposed to. Some of you, there may be somebody with Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio placements, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius also coming in, that like there is a fucking bond here. Some of you, it feels like you feel like you've known this person all your life, or you feel like you know you guys have this like past life connection. And I feel like, ooh, that just hit. Some of you, you know this person from another life, and the life before this, you guys didn't get to have each other, which is why it's so fucking sweet when it comes in. There is this like entwinement, this like you, I feel like there's just so many displays or examples of like quantum entanglement that you get to experience with this person, where you're like, wow, you were doing this while you were doing that, I was doing this, and oh my gosh. Please clarify the one. It just feels like, and it's also something that you get to really build with. Page of Cups. This is someone new. Some of y'all have, you know, some of us are in this place where, you know, we're still crying over the past, and we don't realize that there's like what we actually want hasn't even come in yet. It's like in my mirror staring back at me. I couldn't get any clearer. There anyone else beside me. Oh, fuck you. Anyway, I feel like that. Go listen to Human Behavior by Bjork and Mirror by Justin Timberlake. Please clarify the mirror. I just feel like there is some like, there's some big mirrors that are being held up. We're going to start seeing, yeah. And I feel like if you don't take the hint, there's going to be some uncomfortable, like unnecessarily harsh conversations that you end up having to spend a lot of time recovering from if you keep ignoring your gut. Whatever needs to end, needs to end. And for some of you, what needs to end is being like, is isolating yourself. There is a difference between satisfactory solitude, and I love my alone time, and like you like hermit moding and like not like being a person. Libra is the gatherer. They are that this energy is responsible for being able to meet everybody where they're at and have them all these different people from all these different walks of life come together and meet around the campfire. Lean into your connections, lean into acquiring higher quality connections, but ultimately experiencing those higher quality connections with yourself first before you require that or demand that of another. This newness wants to come in. This love wants to come in. This passion, this power wants to come in. But you just got to make sure that you're doing your part first. What does you being you? Some of you is like, yeah, I want a husband, I want a wife, but what does that actually look like for you? Have you thought about that? Focus on the bricks that you're building, the tools that you bring to the table. Let's build upon those first while the divine rolls out the rest. I love you. You got this.